Hey guys, welcome to this new video, and in this video I am talking about a different topic. As you can see, what is machine learning? So machine learning is a buzzword which you may be hearing in a different blogs or different videos, and as well as from the different course providers, because there is a lot of buzzword in the market about machine learning engineers, the data science, artificial intelligence, and there are like thousands of jobs out there. And that's why everybody, whether someone who is experienced, someone who is just coming out from the engineering or MBA or any other field like chartered accountant, CA, they all are talking about the machine learning as the new field in which a lot of jobs are coming and they want to go into it. But what is machine learning? I keep hearing this question from my blogs as well as from the direct emails from my subscribers about what is machine learning and how we can make a career in it. But how we can make a career, I will probably talk in a separate video. But in this video, I want to give you an idea what is machine learning and how it is different from the traditional approaches or the traditional programming or the traditional work that used to happen in the programming language. Because at the end, machine learning is nothing but the bunch of programs, the bunch of algorithms that are coming together and giving you the predictive outcome. So like I said, it's a bunch of algorithms and a bunch of programs. So machine learning is nothing but there are algorithms which are having an expertise in predicting the outcome. For example, you are in a sales department and suppose your manager or your GM, general manager, is asking about where we will land in the next quarter, because having that idea will give you a sense of urgency or sense of relaxation that whether you need to make more efforts into the market to drive more sales or so that you can meet the target, or if you are meeting the target based on the right predictive analytics with right confidence, then you can sit relax and keep the things happening the way it is happening. So machine learning is helping in the different areas of the business like sales, banking or retail, to really understand the behavior of the consumer. That's the key, behavior. If you understand this, you will understand every aspect of the machine learning. So what's really happening with the term behavior? So like I said, we will understand what is the difference between the traditional programming languages or the traditional work into the programming and the machine learning work. At the end of the day, both are programming. So what is really happening because of this one word, which is behavior, which you can say it's a trend or it's basically the way consumer behave. So machine learning is, with the help of algorithms, is trying to understand the behavior. And when we look at the traditional work or the traditional programming languages, we used to give the set of behaviors to the programming language and basically wanted the answers out of it, not the prediction. For example, if you are having a sales process, suppose there is a order management, then you are giving a certain rules to the order management software, and that software is basically producing you the output. But in the machine learning, what we are doing, we are not only giving the rules on which answers can be driven, but we are providing them the set of answers already to basically help machine understand that if this is the kind of rule or this is the kind of data which is coming, this is the answer you will get. For example, if you have seen your inbox, you have let's say from the Gmail, there is a dedicated folder which is called spam. How it is identifying the spam, that whether a particular email is a spam? So if you have ever observed your spam emails, they are always having this buzzwords like free this particular thing, or this offer is coming, or that offer is coming, all that kind of stuff. And then, whenever such thing happens, Google basically detects it and put it in a spam folder. So what really happened back in the day is into the Google that they have collected like lot of emails data about what is the right email which you should read, and what should be a probable spam email that they provided it to a machine, to the machine or to a set of programs. And program really understood, okay, if this is the kind of words which is coming in the emails, then it is not spam, and if it has those buzzwords, then I should put it in the spam folder. So today it's not even 100% accurate. Sometimes normal emails are going into the spam, but that's okay. But still 98% of the time it is doing its work. So the idea here is that in the traditional work or the traditional programming work, we used to provide only the rules to the system and the data to the system and ask them to behave in a certain way. But now we have opened up that area. We are providing them the rules, the data, as well as the answers related to it, that this, if you find this behavior, then put it in this folder, or this not a spam, and if you are finding buzzwords or something, then put it in a spam. Now let's take another simple example to better understand it. We always predict whenever we are going out, and suppose it is a rainy season, we try to predict that today it will either going to rain or not. Then how we predict this? Well, we predict this by looking at the sky and see whether it's a cloudy or it's a dark cloudy, or there is a lot of clouds and there are like winds which is blowing, and then we predict, okay, now I have to keep umbrella with me, otherwise I will get wet, right? So suppose you have taken the umbrella and entire day it did not rain. Well, nothing happens because you have made yourself secure that even if it rains, you can take the umbrella. But what if you have to keep a lot of stuff with you and you really don't want to keep the umbrella and want to keep it only if rain happens? So what a machine learning engineer will do is it will try to collect not only the information about whether it will be a cloudy atmosphere or the wind will be blowing, but they will collect other parameters like what is the humidity level, right? And certain other parameters which has really helped predict whether it will going to rain or not. So suppose the parameter is that wind is blowing on a certain speed, humidity is around 75%, and there is a dark cloudy sky out there, then the 95% or 98% chances it will going to rain, otherwise it will not going to rain. So in that way, machine learning is basically helping you to predict whether it will going to rain outside or not. So that's the basic difference that you can find in the traditional programming languages, where we just provided the rules but nothing else. But in machine learning, to the algorithms, which is nothing but a set of programs, we are providing the data, the rules, as well as bunch of answers, which is helping it identify whether it will it is a right answer or a wrong answer, and that same answer we want from the new data that is coming to us in a next instance. So the next question that I have is it a fancy version of the statistics? You must have seen, if you have been following the statistics related blog or machine learning related blog or data science related blog, then you must have seen those memes where there is a cartoon character who is having these statistics in a frame, then it is making the frame as fancy and putting it in a proper way, and then is calling it machine learning. And mostly people believe that that's what it is, that statistics is basically machine learning is basically a fancier version of the statistics. Partially yes, partially no. Why yes? Because statistics is used very heavily in the machine learning algorithms. So what happened back in the day, if I go to 1950s and 60s, somewhere around 1960, when the neural network, one of the advanced statistics, or what we call today is the deep learning, this deep learning library got invented sometime around 1960, which is neural network. And because at that point in time there were not so much of mature systems in place who can handle a level of complexity that needs to be processed through this. For example, image processing. Though there were no systems, that's why people like scientists were not able to use it to drive the inferences based on the questions that they, or the hypothesis that they had. Now because the advancement into the mature systems, like today you have the big data systems who can really store and process the big data. Because of the advancement and maturity in those systems, the algorithm were able to process that data, and process is fast enough that you can get the answers either in couple of minutes or couple of hours. If you go back into the 1960, when these algorithms were invented, and statistics basically have them invented, that there were no way that in years you could have figured out the answers based on what you can get it with the help of these mature systems in a minute or in a couple of hours, like image processing, image search, voice processing, or computer vision, so on and so forth. So the big idea here in the advancement of the machine learning, or the advancement into the statistics, which is now today called machine learning, is the maturity of our systems which can handle the big data. So if I go back in the day, sometime around 2002 or 2003, that's where Google were gaining the popularity for the search engine, and to support the search engine to give the output in like couple of seconds, Google basically invented the Google Distributed File System. They call it like GDFS. Now this Google Distributed File System were using a lot of commodity hardware in the backend, which is basically helping the Google to process millions of requests in like couple of seconds. So for example, you think that every part of the world there is someone at that particular point in time hitting some search keyword into the Google. How Google is able to process such a big data, right? Millions of requests in just couple of seconds. Now Google had this problem, and they basically invented the Google Distributed File System, which basically they released, I think sometime around 2007 or 8, if I'm not wrong. I may be wrong around that, but that's where I think Yahoo, some of the Yahoo employees basically pick that up, those open libraries, and create the Hadoop Distributed File System, the HDFS. So they created this file system to be a little bit more mature, which can be used in the different sides of the business where businesses can use it and process the big data requirements. And that's where the entire big data movement really started. And when they released their Apache Hadoop framework, which is like the open source framework, then companies started adopting it. First of all, testing it and then adopting it. And then there came a lot of vendors like the Hortonworks or Cloudera, which basically further matured and further tightened these systems, so that corporations who has the problems related to the data security, data consistency, data integrity, all of those challenges, they basically tried to tackle it and gave them a complete system which can really help them manage this big data, which they can further process with the help of the machine learning algorithms, which is basically an advanced version of statistics. So that's how the entire ecosystem were developed for the machine learning, and that's why saying it partially that it is an advancement of, or the fancier version of statistics, partially I agree, partially don't agree, because statistics, these neural networks, they were always available with us, but without the presence of big data management, the big data processing, and the mature systems in terms of storing the data, in terms of processing the data, RAM and all that, you could have never done that thing which we are able to do it today. Now, because these companies took over these these systems, make it more and more mature, organizations were able to basically adopt it, because every organization is generating millions and millions of data. And I will show you one use case in a couple of seconds, but they are generating millions and millions of rows every day, and if they don't process, they are basically losing on the opportunity that is available from this data which they are processing, to understand what are their loyal customer, what are their not loyal customer, what is a product on which they can focus, what is a product on which they should not focus or discontinue it. All that sort of processing is something which is now today possible with the help of the advancement of big data and the maturity of the machine learning. So here is our answer: no, but an advanced version of statistics. So I hope you were able to get the idea about it. Now let's go ahead and talk about a use case, a simple use case. So the use case about what I have is about the retail company, to understand it. So retail is basically something which we do it, or which we go to a retail store almost every other day. In most of the cities, you have the retail companies. So suppose there is a retail company which is basically let's say ABC, and this retail company has a presence in multiple countries and in multiple cities, and suppose it has 10,000 stores in all these different countries and cities to basically serve the customer for their retail needs. And if we take that every day, in each of the retail center, there is 1,000 transactions which is getting processed on an average, then you can multiply 10,000 with 1,000 and basically see the amount of data that it is generating each day. Now, if we look at our traditional system, if we go back like in 2000 or 2005 even, we did not have that much capability to process that data, and that was like the biggest reason machine learning did not get the kind of attention at that point in time. Even though there were banking companies, major corporations like Goldman Sachs and Bank of America, HSBC, they were using it, because I was part of one of the banking system like Bank of America, and we were using the credit card fraud detection algorithm, but that was using a different system altogether, which was like very tightened, very much for the corporation, like SAS, Statistical Analysis System, and that was in 2008. And they were using it, but not at a scale which we use it, or the companies are using it today. So coming back to this particular example, so suppose that there are like I think there are like 10 million or 100 million, 10 million transactions which is happening every day. So think about how much data that they are generating from about their customers who are coming to them on a daily basis or weekly basis and buying them. So if they don't process this information, they will be losing a big opportunity. For example, if I give you an interesting case about what really happened, the marketers basically ran the algorithm, the machine learning algorithm back in the day, I think in 2005 or sometime. So what they tried to, what they could understand is whenever a baby nappy is getting purchased, along with that, a bag of beer or a pack of 6 beer is also getting purchased, and they were really interested in knowing that what's really happening, what is the relation between the baby nappy and the pack of beers. So when they observed their customers by putting a CCTV or something, they basically could understand that some of these guys who are coming into their store are basically the father of a newborn baby, and probably they were doing the babysitting because mother is out, or they are supporting the mother. So along with the baby nappy, they were buying the beers, and that's why what they did is they basically put those two things together so that customer is not facing an issue and they can generate more revenue. So it's about putting this stuff at the right place in a grocery store so that customer can see it. Another example, if I give you that when you are near to your checkout, near to the cashier to do the checkout, you will see that there is a chocolates which are always put out there. Have you ever observed or have you ever tried to think why they have done that? Well, it's because when you are over there and try to put trying to go out for a checkout, if you have a baby, or let's say if you are a chocolate lover, even if not a chocolate lover, when you see the chocolate, your mouth is like having a water to consume the chocolate. So to reduce that searching, to reduce that effort, they put the chocolate near to the cash counter, or ice creams, or like mouth fresheners, so that you can quickly just pick that up and put it in your basket. So that is basically increasing more sales for them. So these are some of the findings that grocery owners, the grocery chains were able to identify with the help of the machine learning algorithms. Now there are a lot of different use cases. For example, I talked about credit card fraud protection. So this basically a classic case which companies have been using from years. Clinical research, to basically research on a drug, and based on the how the drug is formed, based on the different components, they try to do a clinical research on that using the statistical technique. They try to predict whether the drug is performing good or not. All of these different use cases were available, but to a limited industry like banking or medical, because that was absolutely needed. But now with the advancement into the big data systems, many other companies, be it a retail company or marketing company or sales agency, any company that you take a name, is using the big data processing. And once the big data is processed, able to process, they put the algorithms over there, with the help of the machine learning engineers, and process this information to do some prediction that can help them increase the business. So I hope with all of this explanation, you were able to get the gist of what really machine learning is, how it is different from the traditional systems, how it has developed over the years, and what really helped machine learning for its advancement that it is today, in a way that every company is adopting it. So that's the idea, that's the explanation, that's based on my experience, because I myself work as a data science. I wanted to give you this idea so that you have a better understanding. So if you like the video, hit the like button, and I would suggest share this video so that other people will get to know how the machine learning evolve over a period of time, what it is, and how it is different from the other programming language, like traditional programming systems that we have developed. So thank you for watching it. I will meet you in the next video with a different topic related to the machine learning, but with little different twist.